Oh boy. So, after all the toil of 102 overs, England, from what seemed to be a very precarious position, have now been bundled out for 420. And Ollie Pope, man oh man, I think what a knock from Ollie Pope. I mean, he's kind of given India no hope with this knock of 196.
For a win right now, there seems to be very little scope.
But
all hail Ollie Pope.
All hail Ollie Pope, because the target for India is 231.
And whilst I know that a lot of people will point out that, the batting, the conditions so on, I don't think this pitch, in hindsight, we can say this was anywhere as close to as spin friendly as a lot of us were expecting. But that bounce, the bounce is, I think, what is going to really undo a lot of people, because what is it that triggered England's collapse at the end? It was that one ball that absolutely shot from Ashwin.
Yes.
It was a nothing ball. I don't think it was a ball that was troubling Hartley. Hartley, if you look at it, his bat, he had defended it and it was placed in exactly the position it should be. What was the problem? It just didn't bounce. It absolutely was just this high from the ground. And at that point, you're thinking, okay, any hopes that Pope had of that double 100 were gone as soon as Mark Wood was out.
Yeah.
Because you knew with Leach there was not going to be any running, which is why I know people will doubtless criticize the shot he played. But really, that was the only way he was ever going to get to that.
Yeah.
The only way he was going to get was by getting a boundary, because there was not going to be any running with Leach there. You were not going to run.
You weren't going to run, yes. And see, he tried to attempt a ramp, reverse ramp.
A reverse sweep / ramp, whatever you want to call it.
So he clearly didn't play for milestones. He just wanted to ensure he got the team going. But yes, if he had paid off, he would have become only the fourth England player to have hit a double 100 in India, joining his teammate right now, Joe Root, Mike Gatting and Graham Fowler. So that is the way this current situation looks like now. But remember, a target in excess of 150 has not been chased in India for over a decade. The last time India chased a target in excess of 150 was 155 in Delhi against Australia. That incidentally was Ajinkya Rane's debut test.
I still feel that I feel that the match has come at a point where it's 50-50 finally, because again I don't think the wicket is spinning square. Again, I've been talking about this regularly during this test match, that the rough patch is too full. And the place where it's actually, there is uneven bounce, is the place that is in the center.
On the good length area, basically.
It's basically on the good length area, and there it's actually uneven bounce. And it's not that much that I would be doubting India being able to chase 230. Yeah, definitely. I'm not saying that England are out of this game. I'm keeping this game fine for the first time at a 50-50. India definitely in the game, but again the batting needs to step up, and I think the best bowler in this Indian innings has been Jasprit Bumrah, because again I think that last wicket of Pope was really smart of him, because he knew that a fast bowler coming into the attack back, he was expecting a
quick one,
because Jasprit Bumrah has been bowling really quick in this test match. He was expecting that because the spinners were giving that slowish ball, and I think that was something that was really smartly done and really well executed by Jasprit Bumrah, because in such situations what happens is that if your first change-up delivery, that is the slower one, if it's not executed to the fullest, then the batsman knows that you have that in your back of your mind. Then the batsman is ready for that. In this situation, Pope wasn't ready. But the bigger thing is that I think that the spinners of the Indian bowlers that we were talking upstairs also, that it's sort of, I don't know if using exposed is the right word, because suddenly when you don't have conditions that are so friendly for you, suddenly the dynamics have totally changed.
I mean, look, we were all expecting that the spinners would rule the roost, right? But in the second innings, who's been the bowler who's gotten you the most wickets? Bumrah. Why? Because Bumrah is someone, his kind of bowling is not condition specific, and he's a very smart operator. That's the thing. He's gotten those wickets through graft and by actually basically altering his own approach. His approach normally would be what? To go hell for leather, or if he's playing in Sena countries, he'll always bowl it at that probing length where his angles tend to generate swing or tend to generate doubt in the mind of the batters. Here, he's having to change his game completely. He's entirely been reliant on cutters. Yes. Either cutters or the good Yorker ball.
Swing.
Yeah, or reverse swing. That's the extent of it. That's all that he's been doing. But he's made it work. He's gotten you 4 wickets. And actually, this is going to be a point of conversation going forward. I think this is, I dare say, one of the most sporting wickets we've seen in India for quite some time.
I mean, see, you had kind of a turnaround when you look at it in 2016-17, the kind of pitches where Ashwin, Jadeja would toil, keep on bowling, and then get the wickets.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say they have gotten kind of exposed by all this, but see, we have been so used to 3 years of sandpits that we don't tend to realize that public memory is short for a reason. 16-17, you used to encounter these kind of wickets.
Yeah, in fact, not just 16-17, pre-2021, these were the standard test pitches you got in India.
Yep.
Why? Because this is how it should play. Today is what, day 4 of the test.
Yes.
Now you're seeing, little funny business from the pitch. Otherwise, if you applied yourself, it was very good to bat, as Ollie Pope showed.
Absolutely.
He applied himself, he batted well. And even, that's not a criticism of the other England bowlers, because again, you were encountering a Bumrah who was operating on another plane.
Yep.
A lot of those wickets were down to just that. And I think it's okay that, you ended up, let's say, I don't know. I think what actually does expose, I think the bowlers themselves have lost the habit of toiling on these pitches.
Yeah.
Because previously what would happen? Why did a Jadeja struggle as much? His bowling style is essentially bowl wicket to wicket, bowl it quick and let the pitch do the rest. When the pitch isn't doing as much is when you tend to get exposed. Same with Akshar.
Yep.
Akshar is very much a stump to stump bowler who will let the pitch give you most of the spin. There wasn't that much spin on offer, no 8-degree turn.
This is the first time that Akshar has toiled away on this wicket. Because whenever you look at the 3 matches that he played, where he got 27 wickets in 2021, look at the nature of those wickets.
They were absolute pits.
When I'm saying that they're exposed, what I exactly mean is that I feel that, see, what we are used to seeing and what we think of the Indian spinners, especially in Ashwin, is that they run through batting lineups when they are in India.
That is a misconception.
What has happened. I don't think, see,
it is a misconception.
We've been seeing this since quite a while now in India.
Just 3 years.
3 years, so 3 years is quite a while.
Look back, but then 2013 till 2019, you're willing to take that 3 years he's not been able to run through, but he's been running through opponents for 6 years.
And that time a lot of Ashwin's run-throughs would come in either the 3rd or 4th innings when the pitch was offering the most. And see, that I still will never write off. Very simple reason, you were at least giving pitches that were true to the Indian nature. This is, I think, the closest pitch you've seen to a sporting wicket since 2021.
Yeah.
Chennai. That was the last sporting wicket you saw in India. I'm not counting Ahmedabad because we all know why that pitch was served up.
Yeah.
There was a very clear and obvious reason why that was done. But other than that, if you go by the standard that you get in India, it's actually a very good pitch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the pitch is the problem. Whoever wins or loses here, I think it's been, and one thing I think we can all agree on, has been riveting test action.
Yeah.
Something you didn't expect. Most of us thought that it would be wrapped up by day 3 at most.
Yeah. And I thought it would be wrapped up by day 1. Session 1, but that also is not happening. You could very well have a 5th day also, if India kind of have a very conservative approach to batting at this point in time. But see, every Indian spinner that is there, with the exception of Akshar Patel, because Akshar Patel didn't bowl in that 2013 to 19 era.
Correct.
Okay. Ashwin, Jadeja, they used to, look at the game against South Africa in Delhi. Okay, Delhi, which is so used to serving up sandpits for fun, they had to toil for 140 overs.
Correct.
How much did South Africa score?
In that freedom series.
Yeah, 2015.
When India had to get through Amla,
how many overs?
AB, right?
Yeah, 140 overs. South Africa only made 141. That is another thing altogether. But Ashwin, Jadeja had to toil for 40-50 overs.
Yeah.
And that is why it is...
Did you call me?
You might have been on your way.
You knew? I can say this have called you.
I called you, remember, to ask if suppose you come for the innings, if there's an innings collapse.
Lunch I told you I'll be here.
Yeah, but it ended 10 minutes prior to that.
Really?
Yeah. 420 all out is where they are.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They were 420 all out.
So
Pope.
they took lunch early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was going to be either an extension or anything because they were 9 down. So
Yeah.
then they took lunch early because the innings was done.
Yep.
Oh, they've got to the number that we all were thinking India would get to.
Yes.
420.
They
Yes.
fired their way to 420.
Yep. First time ever that after 10 years, India will be chasing a target in excess of 150 in the 4th innings.
So what happened to the percentages?
Now it's, I would still say it is 70-30 in India's favor. I would still say it.
70-30.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, see, the wicket, if you look at it, apart from the low bounce, it's slow turn. It is not sharp, rapid turn. It's only, see, Jadeja, because he's using that much of ribs, he's getting that extra bounce. But Ashwin, kind of, he's landing it on the pitch, it's shooting through low. Aksar didn't bowl that much today.
With good reason.
Yeah. So that is why I think India, with the firepower that they are batting till number 9. I would still say it'll not be an easy chase, by the way. It won't be an easy chase.
But are you expecting the same kind of approach that India had in the first innings? No, Yashasvi Jaiswal, yeah, I do expect the same thing from him. But from the rest of the
Rohit will do it. Rohit can do it.
Are you sure that Rohit will do it now?
I think see, that is his basic nature. He will attack. He's not bang from the word go. He'll calculated approach. He does attack. Yashasvi will go for it because see, you have to attack on this wicket. If you don't, then it has been shown. Look at Folks, look at Rehan, look at Hartley. Whoever settles in after about 20-30 balls, they make it count.
I want to know what's the Jack Leach situation, because I did see him with bandage yesterday. There were talk about whether there will be an issue. Then I saw pictures on the broadcast with him being bandaged. I think he was taken to a hospital or something. Or
he had suffered 2 injuries on his knee while he was sliding around at third man. One was deemed serious by Jitan Patel, who's the spin bowling coach. He will not bowl. He will be batting, which he came out to, but he will not be able to bowl.
Oh, that's a big blow.
That is a huge blow.
Okay, so keeping that in mind, I didn't know it was confirmed he's not going to bowl. They've confirmed it.
Yes. They were showing it that he will be coming out to bat if required, but he can't bowl. It's a knee injury which is quite serious.
If Jack Leach is not bowling, then they are bowling with effectively
only 4 bowlers.
No, 4 bowlers in which Wood hasn't been impressive at all.
Yeah.
Hartley, we knew that, we saw how he went for so many runs. Leach was the most experienced. He may have picked up only 1 wicket, but with that experience, and anyway, different innings, different performances. Rehan's the only one who looked kind of the bowler who could trouble Indian batters, and other than that, route. So effectively, if you look at the English bowling lineup, they're bowling with 2 good bowlers on this surface. I'm not saying Wood's not a good bowler, but I'm saying in this surface, with the experience that he lacks in these conditions, which let's say a Bumrah does, with that, 2 bowlers, then you're chasing 220 odd, and why I think it gives me hope that India should chase it, and I'll also put India the favourites to win this, is primarily because when I saw the way Hartley came out to bat, I'm not saying that he's a complete tail-ender like Chris Martin or a
he does average 30 in first class cricket.
Exactly, but I'm saying with the comfort with which he was batting, still a bowling all-rounder, if you look at him in that thing, with the comfort that he was batting, told me that when the top order Indian batters come, they wouldn't be troubled much. Yeah, if they commit harakiri, it's another thing. But I don't think they'll be troubled much because the pitch hasn't gotten those kind of demons as we think a 4th day pitch or a 5th day pitch will get.
Or an Indian pitch for that matter.
Yeah, so if it was a typical Indian pitch, and again, we don't know what a typical Indian pitch is because every 4 years it kind of changes. But assuming the last 3-4 years, the kind of pitch that we saw, if it was that pitch, then I was putting England 60-40 favourite in this sort of a situation. But the pitch that you're getting now, where batting hasn't looked tough at all, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Paras Mambre said that it's getting better for batting.
It is. I mean, you are able to negotiate the turn very easily because it is slow turn.
Yeah, but did he say it's getting better?
It's getting better. It is.
So if that is how the Indian team assessed it, and that's how comfortable Hartley looked, I would put India, the clear favourites to win from here. But again, it's now a game where England are in it. From a situation where we are saying...
It was done in a day and a half?
No, we were discussing, you were off, but we were discussing, was it a situation where England are already thinking about Vizag?
On day 2 we were talking about this.
That was on day 2.
Even day 3 tea time.
Yeah.
Day 3 tea, when they had lost 6 or whatever, 5 down or whatever, and they were still trailing of 40-50 runs. We said at best they'll get another 100, give India a 60-run target to chase. So even at that time, the common consensus was that England shut shop and thinking, okay, this is gone, what do we do for Vizag? Not quite.
Not quite.
In fact, we talked about the fact that it might just end on that day, after tea. Now suddenly things have...
Now suddenly you're in a situation it'll go to day 5.
Could go to day 5.
Very likely, especially if India lose a couple of early wickets.
Yeah.
You lose 2 early wickets, I don't think they're going to be playing that attacking
Because
at that
see,
point.
you I think have got only 70 overs left today. Okay, I think it was 75 or so because India bowled their overs very quickly today.
Obviously.
And 70 overs if it's there, close to 3.5, you'll have to score. So, see, looking at the way how Jaiswal and the rest of the others, especially Rohit, the top order play, I'm not counting Shubman in it because Shubman's kind of in a lean patch at this point in time. He may be conservative, but Shreyas Iyer, what stops the Shreyas Iyer, Yashasvi and Rohit from doing, and Jaddu for that matter?
I'm saying why bracket them into any sort of approach that they want. I'm saying why bracket it that you have to play this approach or that. Just go out, assess the pitch as a good batter will. For example, let's take Ollie Pope. When he came, he was attempting to play Bazball and then realized, no, let me assess it. Maybe it's not. See, the reason when you play ultra aggressive is when you think the pitch is doing a lot. Now I have no chance. Let me just play my shot because at best I'll get 30, 40. So let me get it quickly rather than prodding, then I may get out for 10 because I may just have 30, 40 balls to play. And so let me play like that. I think, and you see Ollie Pope's inning, when he came, he was a bit tentative to begin with, was trying to be ultra aggressive, then maybe realized that it's a slow turner, as you're saying, as Paras Pamre pointed out, that it is giving you enough time to negotiate the turn rather than, getting you a leg before or out. So he said, no, let me go to plan B, that this is a pitch where I can stick around and I can get a big total. And he changed and he got it. So I'm saying, why not the same for Indian batters? India that way doesn't swear by any Bazball or anything, right? Each batter takes his own way. Let's say if Jaiswal is the aggressive bat, maybe that's how he is his first nature, that's how he wants to go, he goes. But if others, whether it's Shreyas, whether it's a KL, whether it's even a Shubman, whoever it is, because these are batters that have played enough of 4-day, 5-day cricket and they are, not alien to spending time on the crease, biding your time, shouldering, why can't they then look at that approach if they find no demons in the pitch?
Because I feel like, okay, what has happened when you've gotten into a shell or played conservative cricket? We saw it on day 3 in the first hour. You neither got the scoreboard moving and you got yourself under pressure. Jadeja and Aksar were the prime examples of that. You look at Shubman Gill, as you said, he was stuck in only 2 gears. Either he could only defend or he could just play one attacking stroke, but that one attacking stroke had a risk. Look at Crawley, look at Duckett, look at Yashasvi, the way how they played. They ensured that they got the target lower. I mean, if Yashasvi hits a quick fire 40-50, Rohit responds with the 20. 70, you've already gotten about 150 less than in that sense.
No, one is to, be totally bogged down. I'm not saying that. So when there is a ball to hit, you go for it. But if there is a batter who wants to play out and out aggressive, let's say if Jaiswal is hypothetically that batter, then I don't think we should crib about it that look at how Ollie Pope played or somebody else played, he should also play like, no, let him play. But if there is a batter who's comfortable doing it, by I'm saying biding your time batting does not always mean just go into a shell and not try to look for an opportunity to hit a boundary. That's not what I mean, like what Jadeja did at that time. I think he went extra careful and whatever the reasons I think we discussed, maybe it was 100 that was in his mind, whatever. But if it was the Jadeja that we saw earlier, by the way, the previous day, he wasn't ultra aggressive, but he hadn't gone down in his shell as well. If your other batters want to bat that way, the conventional test cricket approach, I think there's nothing wrong.
Because you're only one good ball away. I mean, not Jadeja an
But
example.
is it that kind of a pitch?
No.
Where you are like that one ball with your name on it, so play attack.
Look at what Ben Stokes in the second innings.
No, but that was a beautiful ball.
Beautiful. Even in England, a Root, a Rehan Ahmed can do that.
But I think that would have been out on any wicket.
Yeah, but see, that is an outstanding ball. Vis-a-vis a ball that is not outstanding, but the pitch has done it for you.
No, there is some instance of that happening because today what happened? What is the thing that triggered the collapse? It was the dismissal of Hartley to probably one of the more innocuous balls Ashwin bowled. Stump to stump, wasn't really turning. Hartley got his bat down correct. There was no problem with him negotiating the turn. What happened? Stayed very low.
Shooter. It was a shooter.
Absolute pea shooter.
You don't know which ball will do that.
Exact same thing that happened at the start of day 3. You remember we discussed? There were 2 balls that stayed very low. And what did we think? That now each England batter has to play Bazball because no other option. Uneven bounces come. But look at what Ollie Pope has done. But nothing. And he's actually not had any uneven bounce throughout his innings.
Yeah.
So if you're going to worry about that one ball, again, because we have a case in point yesterday, where 1 or 2 happened at the start of the day and didn't happen for the remaining 90 overs. So if you're going to allow that to weigh on your mind, that it could be that one ball, and so let me play this, change my way of playing, I think that would.
No, I don't think it'll change, because again, even if you look at the Hartley ball, it was very full. He was just looking to negotiate it, because at that point I think they were playing a little slow, keeping in mind Pope's milestone. He was in the 190s. So I think he looked to just play that one out, let it go. It was a nothing ball. And it was actually the shot also, he was just defending. Other than that, the problem is that it's not shooting up from a good length. It's shooting up from a very full length.
Very full length, yes.
9 times out of 10, if you get a ball that full, you're going to go for a shot.
Yeah.
So I think if England are to have any chance, then it's a risk, because you're bowling at a very full length. And a very full length, if a batter who's good enough player of spin gets to the pitch of it, then the bounce won't matter.
And Pope mixed convention and Bazball. I mean, the start of the innings, he was like going for his drives, he was going for the sweep. Later on, as he progressed on, he decided to buckle down. And that's why he still operated at 70. That's right.
Actually, if you look at it, the only ones who were ultra aggressive, who were playing
Only
what
the
you'd call caricature
openers.
Bazball, correct? It's the openers. But there also, you look at the benefit. By the time both were in the hut, you had 113 on the 113 on the scoreboard. So at that point, it gave the middle order, it gave a Pope an option, it gave others an option, because you look at some of the strikers, they dropped down into the 30s and 40s.
Yep.
So none of them were looking to be like that, because at that point, the first thought would have been, no, we need to overhaul the lead before we get a lead of our own.
So that's why I'm saying, if you have that approach, supposing if both Jaiswal and Rohit give the wickets, but they've got 120 on the board.
No, but I still feel that the wicket, I think since yesterday till today, I think I can just remember 5 or 6 deliveries that have really stayed low, not more than that. And more than that now,
Even less than that, I feel.
if
I can't even think of
I'm
5.
keeping this at the upper maximum limit of maximum 5 to 6 deliveries I've seen which have really stayed down. But I think now if India plays at the merit, and I think more now it's about the approach, how India is actually going to approach this chase. I think Yashasvi Jaiswal is going to stick to the same approach he has been, because he's been backed by the team. He has continued that approach in all formats, all throughout. He's not scared of the fact that he might get out or something like that. But more interestingly, I really want to see how Rohit Sharma is going to approach this innings, because suddenly it's sort of a tricky total. I'm still keeping both teams at 50-50 at this point, because again I feel if India plays conventional cricket, if they played this situation more, it could be a very easy chase for India. But again, I feel the pressure. I know India bats still Akshar Patel, but suddenly it has happened a lot of times in India. 2 wickets at the top. Because as soon as you see sitting here right now, we're talking about 220. It's a very easy chase. But suddenly, if you see Rohit Sharma getting out cheaply, then you have a Shubman Gill who is already very in a tentative situation. 2 wickets down. If you're 2 wickets down, suddenly things would tend to get tricky. That is where I think India has been a problem all throughout formats. That when it's get tricky, how India actually approaches that. So that is what I'm more excited to see, that how Rohit Sharma actually approaches the innings.
But you were worried about India's batting in first innings. They got 400 plus.
Yeah, I'm still worried about India. No, see again, the only reason it's not about the skill what I'm worried about. It's more about the mindset that India would come out. If at this time India is sitting in the pavilion and thinking about that it's going to be an easy chase. If anyone has that in the back of the mind that it could be a tricky chase, then it would be a problem for India.
I mean, I don't know. This Indian team, at least what you hear from the team, it's quite a positive team.
Yeah.
And as I said, when they would have seen, I mean, what did you make of India's bowling? I think Jasprit Bumrah once again putting his, heart out. Ravichandran Ashwin came with a lot of plans.
Yes.
Stopping in his delivery stride, jumping 3-4 times extra. I understand what he was trying to do, trying to figure out, is he premeditating me? Is he trying to play a reverse switch or whatever? So he came out with all those plans. So they did come out with different plans, and yet you had like an 80-run partnership between Pope and Hartley.
Yep.
So I'm saying that would give a lot of heart to the Indian batters, saying now here's a tail ender. You may like it or not that word, but effectively he is where he's batting in the lineup at number 9, and he's looking so comfortable. There's no reason.
Yeah.
With the inexperienced English bowling lineup and the experienced Indian batting lineup,
Minus a Jack Leach.
Exactly. That's why even more inexperienced. and you're accustomed to batting in these pitches, there's no reason why this batting lineup does not, get those runs. So if I'm India, I'm thinking, I mean, he says 50-50, I'd go 60, 65, 35, 60, 40, something like that.
Yeah, I was going around the same thing because again, I think the major issue here is your best spinner is not there. Inexperienced spin bowling lineup and your most experienced spinner is not going to bowl. The problem. Like, look, I like Rehan Ahmed, but he's clearly still got that erratic nature about him, yet to become more consistent with pitching it on the right lines and lengths. And that's something, you may get away with in white ball cricket. Red ball cricket, that is something that will kill you. And that's what happened. He looked like that one bowler when he was landing it in the first innings, like, oh, he's got that in him. But then, when the control wasn't there, he went at an economy of 4, if I'm not mistaken, 4 points something. So I think Leach was the key. And I think now, their key bowler is going to be Joe Root.
It is. I mean, I hope they open with Root.
This time around,
Yeah, they open with Root and also they have Rehan at the other end.
I mean, see, one other thing which, as we're looking at the disadvantages that England has, but the advantage here is that they won't make the same mistakes which allowed India to get to 420 in terms of bowling changes at Ben Stokes Stadium. So that, of course, he'll course correct.
We hope so.
No, he will course correct. The only way I see the Indian team lose from here is that if Mark Wood has an outstanding spell with the ball, and I know that we wouldn't give him too many chances, but let's say he cranks it up with pace, troubles a few Indian batters, maybe a Yorker or two or a short ball or two.
One short ball that stays low.
Gets you 2-3 wickets. That's one scenario, and Root will have to chip in. So I only see 2 scenarios in which India can lose. One, that Wood has an outstanding time, Root has an outstanding time, or the 2 combined have an outstanding innings. That's the only weapon as such that I see England have to trouble India. For all you know, now you might see, because there are bowlers short, not initially, later, he's been reluctant to bowl, but Stokes might have to come in to bowl. You're going in with a bowler shot if Leach is not bowling.
Unless Leach bowls through the pain. Oh, I want to win this. I'll bowl through the pain.
That seems very
and further aggravated and get out of the series then.
Exactly. I think they'll prioritize the series over the test.
Unless, see, that's why, if the situation is such where it's going to aggravate his injury, then maybe not. But if it's not that, we've known of sportsmen doing it, right? Taking injections, cortisone injections, painkillers, and just bowling, so it just makes that area numb. Of course, it's doubly painful later, but then that's for later.
That they'll worry about later.
Yeah. We've seen bowlers
Talking
do
about
that.
India's bowling more, do you think that the way the spinners in particular have been a little exposed, especially someone like a Jadeja and Akshar? Ashwin, I still feel that has tried to bowl the classical off spin. Suddenly, I think when you do not have a wicket assisting spin so much, Akshar and Jadeja have looked way too flat.
Akshar in particular.
And Jadeja, I know Jadeja has gotten the wickets, but again, he has also been the most expensive. If I'm not wrong.
But I tell you what, Jadeja that way, which I was surprised, was getting a lot of turn.
Yeah, he was giving it good revs.
Yeah, and that's not the Jadeja that we are accustomed to seeing. Like Jadeja is the quicker left-arm spinner. He darts it either leg before, out, slight turn, and actually that slight turn helps. Again, am I looking at it different? Because he's got that extra turn, is that the reason that he was not as destructive as he could have been? Because what happens is, more often than not, then you're missing the stumps. That extra turn, while it's troubling, it looks very good to the eye. And oftentimes I saw like he was gripping it and the ball would turn. I was like, wow. But maybe that is then allowing, it's like much like a fast bowler, where when you just get the seam to move slightly, you'll get the edge. When you're really moving it around, the batter is missing it by miles, but you're not getting a wicket. I thought maybe that was a scenario.
Case in point actually was that one wasted review where he got, where he thought he had Ollie Pope trapped LV. That ball, it spun crazy amount. It was spinning. It was a traditional left arm orthodox. It was not the arm ball. And I'm thinking, it's pitched there. I'm like, oh, maybe it's a chance at best umpires. But then when the ball tracking, it spun a mile. And I'm like, huh? Maybe that is it. Maybe he's getting too much spin that he is for his own good.
But I would disagree totally with the point that, barring Akshar Patel.
Yeah, Akshar Patel I wholly agree with.
Ashwin, Jadeja.
Ashwin, I agree that he's been.
But even Jadeja, I mean, we have gotten so used to these sandpits for 3 years in India that Prior to COVID, they would do the hard yards. Yeah, they would bowl 30, 40 overs.
Jadeja, I remember in particular, he was at one point, I think one of the only reasons he doesn't have as many wickets was because he would do the dirty job, which is hold one end, consistent line, length, consistent line, length. He was, then of course on the second innings, there was every chance he'd reap the rewards. That's the difference between someone like an Akshar.
Yes.
What's with Akshar, he was mostly bowling in an era where India were serving up absolute sandpits.
Yep.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, was that Joe Root practicing medium pace?
No, just rolling his arm sometime when you're warming up.
But remember,
who was practicing something was Yashasvi Jaiswal practicing sweep shots.
Oh yes.
So he spent a lot of time in between the first innings and the second innings practicing a lot of sweep shots.
I mean, Joe Root bowling medium pace. Ask Marnus Labuschagne, 110 kmph outswing to beat him all ends up.
I remember that ball
in Manchester. Yeah. So that is why I see if Yashasvi, I think, plays the slog sweep brilliantly.
Oh, he does. He's a very good sweeper.
I mean, if they get Hartley on again, good luck.
Not happening.
They won't now.
So.
Now I
You'll
think
get Root.
Yeah. Now you'll get Root because then you have to play matchups.
Yeah, you'll have to get him. Otherwise, you'll have to get those guys in. Otherwise, if you get Hartley or
2 days off.
Yeah. So.
Okay, Vishal Panchal says we might see 2 upsets today, Australia and India.
Oh, Australia, last I checked, there were 4 wickets.
187 for 8. 29 runs away.
And 2 wickets.
But it's turning out to be
Is Steve Smith still there? Is the real
No,
question?
yeah, I think Steve Smith is gone.
Oh, so it really go anywhere.
no, Smith is there along with Lyon.
Then it's okay. Then
Shamar Joseph 6 for 60.
the same Shamar Joseph was practically being carried off the field yesterday.
Ripped apart his toe.
Yeah.
That Yorker from Stark.
I know. What a spell. 6 for 60. Oof.
Madness.
Yeah, it's a dinner break now.
So Shamar Joseph, give it 2 years till he's playing T20s.
This
then.
dinner break is going to be really hard for.
It will be 29 runs and Postman Pat is also gone.
Oh, Postman Pat is also
So
not
you've
there.
got only Lyon and Hazelwood.
Oh.
So 29 runs, West Indies could actually achieve a 27-year first. Oof. Rajkumar Bharadwaj is saying, believe just like one man performance in second innings by England, India will find facing the English bowlers a completely different proposition.
So basically what he's saying is that Ollie Pope came out of syllabus. Please don't let no bowler then come out of syllabus, out of nowhere. You might see, I don't know, Rehan Ahmed suddenly find his lines.
Or maybe a Hartley.
It'll be the ultimate redemption if he ends up getting a fifer. But I doubt. I doubt.
I mean, see.
I wouldn't be surprised though.
I would be very surprised.
Yep. Shubham Garg is like saying, very poor captaincy from Rowe, no intensity, no chirping, shoulders down, just waiting for magic ball. Rehan Hartley at 6 fielders on boundary for easy one.
That I will agree with. I thought the
Yes.
fields were very defensive. I remember there was one ball which I think Akshar bowled to Pope, and he just kind of did that, and I'm waiting. There was no one on the circle. There was no one in the deep. And everyone's just looking at the ball go, and I'm like, what field position was he trying for?
Yeah.
What was he trying for? And then if that is the field, then I'll also blame the bowler that you've given him a dolly ball there to push through in an area where there was nothing. So I do agree. Sometimes with Rohit, I don't know, his changes do
He
tend
seems to be like MS Dhoni in that sense.
No, see,
Wait
again,
for things to happen.
No, I don't think so. I feel that that's exactly what is working for him. And again, this comparison is a very big reason for this is that people are used to seeing Virat Kohli, who has that sort of a personality, and that works for him. And I totally agree with the fact that really makes Test cricket much more interesting and much people want to watch Test cricket because of that reason more. But again, I think both of them are really different personalities, and that is what works for Virat Kohli.
Personalities forget. That people need to realize. Like, I also agree with you that because Rohit is not as expressive and Virat is, that does not make one the more proactive captain and the other one less proactive. There is no way of judging that, right? But the point about them was about field placements or not taking the initiative. Do you see?
No, I don't think so. See, again, it's the same thing. It's if it works out, it will be brilliant, and if it doesn't, then that's what will happen.
No, I think you needed to be a little proactive in this particular thing, and I think there were times when Rohit also was desperate to try and make something happen, but it manifested in the wrong ways. like that hopeless review of Pope. Bad review. Bad review. I was looking at that naked eye and I'm like, why did he review that? At best, my worry was that the impact also would be umpires, which is exactly what happened. Don't even talk about where it was hitting the stump.
You know, see, this is where I think Bazball will challenge the way of playing, might challenge any captain. I mean, look at it. If you play a reverse sweep, a reverse scoop, there was a reverse dill scoop so many times. I mean, you'll call it the Pope scoop at this point in time, because 3 times he tried it over. There was a big debate also whether it should be allowed, not allowed.
How many times he was going for the reverse sweep as well? He went for it multiple times.
For a traditional captain who we have seen for 100 plus years has been convention. Where is the next reverse sweep? Where is the next reverse scoop? I mean, how do you set a field for that? I would like to ask each and everybody that. How do you set a field for that?
No, see, the danger with a reverse sweep is that then you need to go a little extra attacking and tempt them to play the shot. You can't let them, if you give them a defensive field, then they'll start picking off the ones and twos, which to be fair was one of the reasons why in the lower order got you so many runs. Not
Both
the likes,
innings.
the likes of Rehan. Rehan was going for the shots, but again Hartley was playing very smart cricket. Hartley looks more assured as a batter than he does as a bowler. So he was taking the ones and twos. Same with Folks. Folks was hardly being explosive.
Yeah.
His game isn't that at all. So he was also looking for the ones and twos. And I think you're giving them those easy runs at a time where you know if you turn the screw, either they'll explode in a good way or the match would have been done.
Because I think he was caught in a catch-22, Rohit. Or any captain for that matter. Because see, what happened is if you keep the field in out, but then they could have also found the boundaries quite easily.
Well, they were still finding it quite easily.
If you give a rather defensive field, then maybe, okay, wait for things to happen, they'll get frustrated. But yes, that backfires 60% of the time.
Exactly.
Nowadays, in the modern era, it does. So yes, this session, I think Rohit was guilty of it. I mean, it wasn't a clueless or a pathetic, but yeah, he just didn't have a plan B. It didn't seem like he had a plan B. That's nice.
Okay, we got to finish all the questions before.
Sandeep Anand on the same extension, we talked about that only now. Praneet Datta,
take the question at least. Sandeep Anand says,
will anyone talk about
clueless, pathetic Rohit Sharma?
Very harsh.
So Sandeep Anand,
I think it is harsh also. So Praneet Datta, 2 fascinating test matches going on. 1 in India, 2nd in Australia. Test cricket is alive. Shamar Joseph could be the new star in the horizon. I mean, left a job as a security guard.
I mean,
and now he's playing.
Shamar Joseph in 2 years will be getting record IPL bids.
Yes, I mean, if he can do it in Brisbane, why not?
No, but he's bowling.
He's bowling.
6
with
wickets.
that injury, sir.
Yeah.
6 wicket liya.
Still too soon to judge him.
Let's see. But he's made a great start.
But you know,
Again, it's with the ping ball.
his story is amazing. From where he comes, back of beyond area, didn't know. It's like an island sort of a place where he stays. Had no idea what cricket is. Suddenly started playing, became a security guard. Then said, I'll try my luck.
Yeah.
The story is fascinating.
Fascinating, yes.
Debut, first ball, wicket.
Yeah.
You know, all of that. It's a
And also
great story.
Good contribution to the bat.
Yeah, but for him to be counted amongst top players, he'll have to work hard.
Look who's got the ball.
It's like Yashasvi Jaiswal's story.
Yeah.
You know, it'll take time for him to establish, but his whole journey has been incredible.
Jaddu also in that sense.
Joe Root.
Yep.
Joe Root's got the ball.
Ball, yes. Good move.
Told you won't make the same mistakes now.
Sukrit Sarvaria is saying, India's win hinges on a fast 100 by top 3 batsmen, the new ball on day 4. How likely is strategy to be witnessed today? I hope it happens on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But let's see the field that England has. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see the field placements.
I mean, they do have one fielder up very close. That is Pope.
Do they have a leg slip?
That is Pope, if I'm not mistaken, who's standing. Yeah.
Do they have a leg slip?
I didn't see a leg slip. But leg slip for a spinner?
But India doesn't need to bat aggressive. It doesn't need to be a quick fire 100. It can be 100.
Yep.
Let's put it that way.
Yep.
In fact, again,
No,
by a
100,
anything, a big score.
Yeah.
It could be 94 or 97 or
89.
like in Ollie Pope's case, I'll say he did not miss out on a double 100. He got a well-deserved 196.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was batting. I'll not criticize that shot because he was batting alongside a Leach who was there on one leg.
Yep.
He knew he had to go for his shots at that point, and whatever runs he got for bonus.
Yes.
Again, Satish B says a slap on everyone who is criticizing Bazball. This is an eye-opener. But I mean, I in the sense that they've been playing at the same rate as India is also. I mean, we'll see India's second innings. Was there a big difference? whatever we think of Bazball, by the way, England themselves don't like this word. Brendan McCullum himself
At least
doesn't
Baz
like
certainly
this.
hates it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but Bazball would be where, you know, like you saw in the Ashes, one team completely different approach, the other team completely different approach. Here, whatever I'm seeing, your approach is dictated by the condition and both teams playing similar. Does that really show one is playing Bazball, one is playing conventional cricket? Not quite. Maybe both are playing conventional cricket.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and watch for the test match to be over. In fact, a long series. And for this Bazball versus other cricket debate, you need to see two different strategies completely, distinctly different.
Yeah.
That's not happened so far.
It's not happened so far either with the batting or for that matter, dare I say even the bowling.
Yeah.
It's not happened with the bowling either.
Yep. So good. This is the strategy that I wanted England to employ. Oh my goodness.
Sensitive.
He should have opened with Root in the first.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
That will be the blunder which might have cost England.
It would be very difficult for India if they played tentative cricket from here.
Oh, and there was a
that's why I
straightner.
think Jaiswal should just play.
Yeah, definitely. Not just Jaiswal, everyone I feel.
Actually, that one was
There
a
is
little
somebody
uneven
who's
balance.
comfortable. Like KL is comfortable.
Yeah, both.
playing.
Iyer is comfortable.
Stick to their natural instinct.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay, Joe.
Take care. Bye bye. Ooh, that turn.
With the new ball because
Yeah, that's a
extra
fresh
bounce.
cherry. Ooh.
It's getting
But he got
interesting
it
each
to
day.
turn.
It got to turn viciously, bounce
Bounce as
viciously.
well.
Piyush Andre.
Okay. We'll see you guys later. Sorry, could not take all your comments now.
Yeah.
But we'll see you.
We will.
At tea time.
Tea time. Yep.
Of
Bye-bye.
course, there will be a post match also today. It's not getting over today.
Yes.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye, Nandri.